Hey guys, welcome back, and we're gonna do IB Economics Paper 1 today. We're gonna do a part A and a part B. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk you through live instead of, showing you all at once so that you know how to properly format your essay. So let's just get started with part A, explain the causes of cost push inflation. Okay, so tell me what your mind immediately goes to. Yeah, so the first thing you should think of is define inflation. Inflation is the sustained price level increase in an economy over a certain period of time. So you define that. Secondly, you do, what's the question asking? Cost push, right? Define cost push. What's cost push? Yeah, exactly. SRAS, causing inflation. In particular, shifting left, right? So yeah, we have defined the two things. But the second part is to draw the diagram and explain the causes. So I would draw the diagram on the left, and then I would write my essay here, and then go down here. So we can draw the diagram first. Let's draw a simple ADAS. Leave some space because, as you know, SRAS will shift left. It's a nice graph. So SRAS 1 to 2. Real GDP, don't forget your axes. Price level. Okay, so something for you to note. I'm just gonna put a note here. Don't write this in your essay, but I would say use Keynesian model other than cost push. Just trust me and you'll see it later why, and we can use that to explain stuff easier. But anyways, yep, cost push. So let's think of two to three factors. 2 if you're short on time, 3 if you're confident. But basically we need to fully explain this diagram. So let's just draw all these things. Yeah. So y1, y2, draw an arrow here. PL1, PL2. So this is the inflation. So let's draw a YS here, as I'll explain later. So let's go. Cost push inflation can be caused by several factors. And then you write, firstly, weather, perhaps, or something you want. Weather, what will it do? Damage crops, right? Harvest reduce. Decreases supply that farmers are able to provide at each price level, or at a price level. Secondly, energy prices maybe. An increase. This causes, cost of production to increase, and therefore reduction in supply. So these are our 2 points. What do we do next? Now fully explain. So how does this work? Due to factors, COP increase, supply decrease. Why? As profitability decreases, and thus willingness to supply. at a price level. Okay, and then you go total number of goods reduce SRAS. Okay, actually not that yet. Yeah, so SRAS shift left. This causes a shortage at PL1. And that's why I drew YS. So PL1 shortage is Y1 YS. That's the shortage, right? Short. That's why it's YS. S stands for short, which causes, what does it do? Consumers to bid up prices, right? Because unsuccessful consumers will choose to pay a higher price. So actually to illustrate, it goes from here, it goes here, that's the shortage, and people bid up the price, and slowly it goes to here. So that's the full mechanism you need to explain in 10 markers. Bid up prices slowly reach PL2, which is inflation. Okay, and then you can go real GDP decreases from Y1 to Y2. You can go new equilibrium formed at blah blah blah. So that's the 10 marker. And this will get you a very high score already. Just be clear and concise, and that can be done. All right, moving on to the harder bit, which is the 15 marker. So you should allocate around a lot of time to this, probably 50 minutes. So first we need to plan. Let's have a plan. Look at the question first. Effectiveness of supply side policies in reducing unemployment. So what do we think of immediately? So when I think of supply, I usually think of interventionists, which is human capital, education, infrastructure, because this is the easiest to explain. So you have your real world example. For me, I have SkillsFuture. It's a Singapore thing. Basically, it's education. And we need to talk about unemployment. So what do we think of? We think about potential GDP vs actual, right? The gap is the unemployment, or something to do with LAS and AD. So we also need to bring in another policy, which can be in this case either fiscal or monetary. So we can do fiscal because it's easy to explain, as I'll show you. So that's a rough idea of how we want to structure our essay. Last, we need some evaluation and also the rough structure in mind. So let's write down a rough structure. First, intro, define all your things. Second, supply side, explanation. Okay, for some questions, you can either choose this to be stronger than this, or in this case, right, it really depends on the economy, as I'll show you. Just make sure you have in mind to focus on one. After that, we do fiscal, explanation, and then we do evaluation. Okay, so nothing too hard as in the structure. How we actually do it, let's do it right now. Define, so supply side policies are unemployment is, I won't waste your time right now, you can go search it out. So supply side policy, I will explain it right now. So let's draw a graph. Remember that we can use Kinshin here because it's easier to explain. AS1, AS2. Let's do AD here. this is something to keep in mind. Whenever you want to talk about supply side policies, draw your AD at here, as I will show you why. So supply side policies increases AS1 to AS2 as it improves, for example, human capital, e.g. through your real example, which is SkillsFuture, which is education free of charge. What does this do? Increases productivity. Sorry, I'm trying to write as fast as I can. So improves productivity, improves potential output, and thus improves or increases AS1 to AS2. So there's a shift here. So, yeah. Is it effective in reducing unemployment? Now we need to explain. As you can see from the diagram, what happens when AS goes to AS2? What happens to the intersection? Nothing, right? So Y1 equals to Y2. PL, PL1, 2, real GDP. So what happens actually? From diagram, if AD is not near potential, i.e. economy is not operating at full capacity, what happens then? Actually, supply side is not helpful, right? Yeah, although it increases LAAS, what does it do? Or rather in Keynesian potential output, AD is just not enough to support it, right? Or to make use of that. Right? So you can also say imagine AD is here. Right? So you can have a second diagram that AD is here. Imagine AD. What can you explain then? We can explain that it goes from here to here, and that increases real GDP, right? Yeah. So all this we need to tie back to the question, unemployment. So unemployment is still unchanged. Why? Because Y2 is still Y1, and there's a gap to the full capacity. So actually it might have increased even. But that's my supply side argument. Now we can do fiscal. We can draw another graph. So fiscal, we can also use this graph, but we don't move the AS for now, right? So AD, what does fiscal do? Yeah, it just increases AD, right? So AD1, AD2. Can you see where I'm going with this? Yeah, it reduces unemployment, right? So we can just simply say, whereas fiscal increase G. What's G? G component. Well, government spending is a component of real GDP. Increase AD from AD1 to AD2. And you have to make your explanation really clear. So because of spare capacity in the economy, there is no effect on price level, right? So unemployment is reduced as well, as the economy reaches Y2 closer to potential output, right? So now that I have my two policies, I just need to evaluate it. How do I evaluate this? Well, what's my main argument? Let's look at the supply side. I'm saying that, okay, let's delete this. I'm saying that imagine the economy is in a place where there's a lot of potential, right? So it's not operating at maximum capacity. I'm saying that fiscal is a better move than supply side, right? So we can just write that down first. In the case where economy not operating at full capacity, and then you can have even a real world example for this. So don't forget your real world examples. If it's not operating at full capacity, fiscal, much better than supply side, right? But you can say, in the case where economy is operating at full capacity, what will fiscal do? You can even draw another diagram. Imagine the economy is here. What will fiscal do? It's basically useless, right? It will just, all the fiscal will just go towards inflating the economy. So you can even draw another diagram. Fiscal is not good, as all injection of money, well, of spending, goes towards what? Price level. And rather, supply side policy will be better because, yeah, it increases the capacity, right? So imagine your AD is here. And yeah, that's the 15 marker, honestly. So all you have to do is think clearly about what they want. Unemployment is actually GDP, right? On the axis, as in what we learned. Supply side, just choose one, keep it simple. I would definitely do interventionist. Think about your outline. Think about supply side, fiscal, which one you want to support more. Think about your economy, or rather which real world example you're using, and you need to support that. So yeah, supply side explanation, fiscal explanation, evaluation. And that'll get you more than 10 marks. So yeah, I hope this helped. And all the best for your IBs.